There is a gigantic difference between people who idealize the concept of God and the idea of working with spirit guides or being in touch with spirituality versus people who've been about that life their entire life with their action and their embodiment of the energy. It's not what they talk about, it's not what they show on social media. You can tell that their energy is very different than the people who just yap about it. The people who have been about that life their entire life without having to show it off on social media to strangers for validation for whatever the hell reason, their life has been full of battles and wars. They're always the ones taking care of other people, not because they have to, not because out of obligation. I mean, part of it is obligation, but because they know it's the right thing to do, because their heart is guiding them. If you really hear about these people's real life stories, their entire life story is not smooth, it's not easy, and they don't do this to receive praise from other people. Like, these people are really humble people in real life. And the thing about it is that most people think that just because you talk about it on social media, or that you always talk about your suffering, what you've been through, your hardships, that's what makes you different from the people who don't have a relationship with God. But you know, people who have a real relationship with God, they're very humble about their suffering as well. They don't like to lead with their stories of hardship, because as real as those hardships and challenges and obstacles that these people have overcome, they also know that it's just part of life. They don't like to receive special treatment because of this. They're not entitled to something else because of their hardships. If anything, they utilize that heart, they utilize that heart center, they utilize that empathy, they utilize their pure spirit that has always remained intact regardless of their circumstances to further serve other people. It's not about them. These people, you can tell, it's not about being seen. It's about really in their private life, they're doing a lot for other people. So be careful before you judge someone as good or bad based on what they talk about publicly, because only God knows who really is doing good behind the scenes, and who you are as a person is not what you talk about on social media. It's not the things that you get praise for from the public. It's how you are showing up to other people behind the scenes in your private life. That's who you really are. So people who have true connection to source and who have a true connection to God, they move differently in their reality, and other people around them can vouch for that, like people that have real relationship with. These people that you see on social media, or whoever you idealize on social media based on what they talk about themselves, based on how glamorous they are, based on the knowledge they speak of, you can never judge that person and their true deeds behind the scene. Thankfully, if you have the gift of discernment, you already know this. And that's why you're the type of person that doesn't really mess with everybody, because you know how to tell the difference between the real energy of being connected to God versus phonies.